Welcome to another tutorial in Power BI. Today we are going to talk about DAX. DAX is a programming language in Power BI which helps us in calculating measures, calculated columns, and other uh, sort of functionalities using DAX. DAX is a very powerful language in Power BI. It helps us perform data analysis tasks such as calculating the columns, tables, and creating measures to summarize data. The DAX also can be used to unpivot tables and create new tables out of it and analyze them accordingly. So let's get started with some basic DAX functions. First, we need some data. So let's get a sample data from the Power BI, just to load sample data. And we are going to look into some basic DAX functions today. Count, distinct count, and what is the difference between them. So we're going to just load the data from the data sample. So now that our data is loaded, let's start with this DAX. Go to the data panel, and you can see that we have few columns here: segment, country, product, discount band, units sold, manufacturing price, sale price, gross sale, and etc. So let's look at our first function, which would be count. So let us have a look at our first DAX function, which is going to be count. It is a very basic function in DAX, which counts the number of rows of a certain column that you provide. So to get started with DAX, we need to create, let's say, a new measure. We can just click on the table we want to create a measure and go select new measure, and it will create a new measure. And now we can start writing the DAX. So let's rename it count function. So count function, you can just type count, and there you go, and give the name of the column that you want to count the rows for. So we're going to just count the rows for product and just set click enter, and it will return the number of counts rows in it. So let's check it out and see if it works or not. You're going to provide this selecting the cart visual and just providing this measure we created, and it will just return the number of rows for the particular column that we selected. So count is a very basic function in Power BI, just to count the number of rows in a certain column or a specific column, and it can be used with other functions as well, and it provides much more flexibility and functionality than just simple returning that number of rows. So let's look at the now the distinct count. So now let us look at our next function, which is going to be distinct count, and what is the difference between distinct count and count. Count provides returns the number of rows in a specific column, but distinct count returns only the unique values, and it discards the duplicates. So if we write distinct count and give the same column product and close the bracket and enter, so but this will do now, it will return the unique value from that product column and not the whole row, just the unique values. So if we return back and see that, it will return the number of 6, because 6 is the unique columns and unique values in this product column. As you can see, 1 to 6, this is a unique value. So that is the difference between count and distinct count. Now let's look at another function in Power BI called calculate. Calculate is a function that provides us the ability to filter out some values in the column. Let's, for example, suppose we want to see how many occurrences of Germany are there, and we want to see how many rows that Germany has, so we can filter them out. Calculate provides the ability to filter out values from a specific column. So what we are going to do is write calculate and provide it with expression. What do we want to go with that column? We want to count the number of occurrences of Germany in the column country. So we're going to say count and provide with the country name, column name, country. Close this out. comma, and what sort of filter we want to apply. We want to say that look for the occurrence of Germany. How many times does Germany appears in that column? We have to give it into quotation mark because it's a string. Otherwise, if we don't put the quotation marks, it won't return the value and the count function. It won't work. So if we hit enter and go to our visual report section, we can check it out by just selecting the card visual and dropping the Maya into it. So 140 times that Germany occurs or Germany has a value in that column country. So we can provide multiple filters as well in this calculate function. For example, we want to say, okay, we want to see Germany and we want to see how many times a specific other value appears in the column. As for example, in the product, we want to see, yes, okay, in Germany, how many value product are there. So what we can do is just after the Germany, we can say comma, we can say product or column financial product is equal to value. So now, what this will do is it will provide us the number of count where in the first column it will look upon the Germany and then it will say in the product column where is value. So it will return the count when they both are found. It will return only those values. Like look at we can see that it returns 22 because there are 22 occurrences in which country and product matches. Country being Germany and product being value. But what if you want to say that I want to achieve both, or if I want to achieve either? If, for example, let's say I want to say because this comma filter, what it does is it will first ensure that first filter is correct and the second one as well. If both those function and the values that you provide with it, if it both gets true, then and only then it will return the value. But what if we want to say that we want to achieve either this or that, right? If let's say we want to say either if you find Germany or you find France, you return the value. What we can do is provide with the after the first filter, we can say logical operator on it. I will say or. For or, you need to provide with the symbol and say country is equal to France. So by doing this OR operator, we are saying to it, to the calculate function, that if you find either one of them, you return the number of counts. Before that, with the comma, with the multiple filters, what we were doing was you have to make sure that both the conditions are true, then you return the value. So if you hit enter, if either of these filters are true, it will return a value. You see, 280. So this basically there are 280 number of occurrences of Germany and France, either or those, right? We can use this logical OR operator with multiple columns as well. Instead of just using the same column, we can say that we want to say the Germany, or if you find the product is equal to value. So again, if we hit enter, we can see the result. It will return the 227 count, right? Before that, as you saw, it was just returning 22 when we used a comma and used with multiple filters. With this OR operator does is, if either one of the condition is true, you return the count for it. So there is you can use this with as you can use this with other logical operator as well, and operator as well. You have to just type double N. It will return the same as you providing with it uh, multiple filters. It will return the 22. It will work exactly the same as just providing the comma and providing multiple filters.